You just went out and bought yourself the brand new GoPro Hero 12 Black, and now you're ready to film with it. As you stroll through all of the settings, you see that there are so many different options. Should you use a high or low frame rate? Is 5.3K really the best? And what about your field of view? It can be pretty difficult to find the right settings, but when you do, they can turn your video into a cinematic masterpiece. What's going on, guys? It's Ray here. Today I'm giving you the best settings for cinematic video with the GoPro Hero 12. Now before we continue forward, if you love GoPro and adventure videos, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on. The Hero 12 has introduced new features like HDR video, Hypersmooth 6.0, and more. It can film in specs up to 5.3K 60 and has the ability to capture stunning video. Even though this is technically an action camera, with the right settings, you can make it look professional. So to start things off, let's go over resolution and frame rate. Now before you do anything, you need to have HDR video turned on your Hero 12. You can do this by holding the settings option and switching over to HDR. If this isn't working on your camera, make sure you have turned on full control in your settings. HDR gives your video a lot more detail and makes colors pop a lot more. If you want a cinematic look, HDR is a must. Now let's talk about resolution, and this is a critically important part. For cinematic video, you should always be shooting in 4 or 5.3K, nothing less. But for the peak cinematic look, I recommend shooting in 5.3K 60 with linear field of view. This is overall the best option for cinematic video. To get that crisp look, you'll want to use the highest resolution possible. And 60 frames per second gives you the option to slow down your footage if necessary while editing. Now diving deeper into your settings, make sure you have Hypersmooth turned on. Now I would leave your white balance on auto unless you're going underwater. In that case, make sure to crank up the red channel just a little bit to get those colors to pop. ISO is dependent on where you're filming. If you're outdoors during daylight, set your minimum to 100 and your max to 1600. If you're indoors, I would set the minimum to 800 and the max to 3200. Set your sharpness on high to ensure the best quality video and leave your color on natural. This is so if you want to edit your footage later on, you can have the most room for creativity. Now let's go over some shortcuts and tips to get the most cinematic look out of your camera. First, I would adjust your front screen layout. You can do this right here in your settings. This makes it to where you can film the whole shot just by looking at the front screen, and it's really helpful. Now, the resolution and frame rate I mentioned earlier is the go-to for cinematic video. But if you want to get more specialized, here's what you should do. If you're filming something high action like snowboarding, skiing, or surfing, something with a lot of movement, I would recommend 4K 120 so you can get awesome slow motion clips. Slow motion is hands down the easiest way to make something look cinematic. If you plan on shooting a short movie or a very slow moving shot, 5.3K 30 will be a good option. Hollywood movies are shot in 24 frames per second, so the lower frame rate will give you a more cinematic look. However, this should not be used if you're filming something adventurous. Alright guys, so those are overall the best settings for cinematic video with your GoPro Hero 12. Just because this is an action camera, don't let that fool you. It can capture some really professional looking video. That is gonna wrap up today's video though, but before you go, make sure to smash that like button. Comment down below where you plan on using your GoPro next, and most importantly subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss out on awesome videos just like this one. I'm Ray Tiller, and I'll see you on the next video.